Hey guys, Simply Betty here. Today, I have an unboxing and hopefully a project. This here is a Fluval all-in-one Betta fish kit. I've been meaning to unbox and make a project out of this ever since before my move. I'm finally at a place where I can start a fun new project. And I'm stoked because I have a fun idea in my head. I'm basically considering this practice for my going to be Lord of the Rings themed aquascape. I have to wait around for a little bit. A lot of the hardscape is, I think, going to be coming from Aquashella in Dallas, which I'll be going to. I am gonna fill a suitcase up with hardscape materials for the Lord of the Rings scape. In the meantime, why not practice? So this all-in-one Betta fish kit from Fluval is supposed to be really good for Betta fish, especially with long, flowy fins, fish that can't necessarily manage fast currents. If you remember the Aquatop all-in-one kit that I put together, it's a lovely tank. I like the peninsula shape, but its main flaw was that the filter was very fast. I had to put some stuff in front of it to block it, which worked just fine. But this one, just out of the box, it's supposed to be very slow moving. And the LED that comes with it, it's supposed to be able to support plants. Just so you know, I did receive this free from Fluval, but if it is not good, I'll let you know about it. Sorry, Fluval. Okay. Oh man, I already have an idea in mind for what I'm going to do with it. Pull it all out like this. All right, it's cute. I like the size. I can already hear the comments saying, it's not big enough! If you have a smaller volume of water, I think this is around 3 gallons, you just have to put more work into maintaining that water. 3.6 US gallons, max volume, but it also says 2.6 US gallons. Not sure why there's 2 measurements. Maybe 2.6 is the volume of the front and 3.6 includes the back side, the filter side, I don't know. Anyways, I believe this is an acceptable volume of water. It just takes some more care to maintain it. You might have to do water changes a little more frequently and really watch your cycle. Here's the lid for it. It has a really nice, ooh, snug lid. I like that. In a lot of tanks, you'll get mounting clips on the side and then you set a piece of glass on top, but it leaves a gap. This doesn't have that. This is just one solid piece. It's very snug. There's no place for your fish to jump out if you don't count this huge hole in the middle where the light shines through and you can feed. But I mean, you could easily cover this up with a piece of plastic and have a completely tight lid. That's nice. Never trust a wild species not to jump out. Okay, there's my water pump. Lights. Okay, it hooks onto the back like so. Comes with a USB adapter. Comes with a heater from 76 to 78 degrees Fahrenheit or 24 to 26 Celsius. That's a nice temperature. It comes with carbon and it also comes with some filtration media. If you're going to be doing it like a black water tank, you don't want the carbon. It'll take all of the tannins out of your water. But this is not going to be a black water tank. I'm gonna keep the carbon in. Usually I don't use carbon in my fish tanks, but in this case I will because some of my wood is totally gonna leach tannins like crazy, I think. And I want it to be clear. That has a little handle, that's nice. There is my filtration media. So now I attach the water pump it comes with to this little outflow tubey thing, like so. One nice touch is that using this little pump here, you can actually control the water's speed. You can have it at 100% or you can turn it way down just depending on how your fish is doing. So if the water flow was just too fast, I could come modify it. I think that's pretty cool. I'm gonna stick it on to 100% right now. That's what the instructions say. Anyway, just to get it cycled. Kind of hard to see. I have all my filtration media inside right here. And then the pump, it runs up to this little, it's called a diffusion chamber. So it takes the water flow and I guess it breaks it up and it diffuses it out. I'm gonna put my little heater down into this same cubby. There's a nice little space for the cords to come out. And then I can put the light on. Right on. So far I like this tank. I like the dimensions of it. I like the lid. I feel like the light that it comes with would be probably pretty good for plants like crypts, anubias, mosses, some kind of low mid-light plants would probably do well in here. And I know this is supposed to be like an unboxing and a review, but it would be highly unlike me to not want to make a project out of this. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna make a project out of this, something that I've been having in my head for a while, and then we can review it. I really like Foresty aquascapes. You know, I've seen pictures of little nano Foresty interiors people have done, and I think they're really, really cute, and I like it, and I just think I should practice, and I should make like a little Foresty interior using hardscape supplies that I just have laying around. I thought for a while about what I do, and I made a little sketch just to visualize it. I have some spare manzanita that I've been drying out for a while out in my garage. I actually cut it myself. My last trip to California, you know I saw manzanita branches laying around. So I'm currently on a nature walk in California in the middle of nowhere, and there is manzanita all over the place. Like, you see that? That's a bunch of cut manzanita, and I want all of it. Look at these sticks. I'm gonna grab sticks. I got one. I got the biggest one I could find. Look at it. This is my general idea of my little tank I'm gonna make. So I have an idea of the look that I want. To make that happen, I have a couple different materials that I can use. I have a box full of lava rock. I gathered this myself. I have a bucket with a bunch of dragon stone in it. And then I have a bunch of manzanita on my floor. Before I truly get started with the hardscape, I'm gonna put something on the bottom of this tank to help secure the hardscape elements to it so I don't have tipping. I have egg crate. I'm gonna cut it to size. So now I have something that I can adhere all of my stones and my sticks onto. Now I'll use my tin snips just to cut the little plastic pieces. Perfect. Now I have to figure out which branches I'll be using. There's my little drawing as a reference. Now I'll just go through my sticks one by one and try to figure out which pieces would make good trees. It took me a while, but I got some options for background, midground, foreground. Of course, now I have to cut chunks off. Spent a while repeating that process over and over again until I was able to select all the sticks that I liked and that I wanted to use and get some rough placements and get them all cut and ready to move on to the next step. I did it. I decided on where my sticks are going to go. I'm just gonna make some marks on where I have to cut those twigs so the lid can still fit on. Now that I like how it's starting to look, I am gonna choose rocks. I think I'll end up using some lava rock just because I've had it for so long and I've never done anything with it. The rocks are more going to be like just a firm base to help keep the trees in place. Throughout today, I've been playing around with the arrangement of the rocks, and I think I'm maybe coming to something that I like. One thing that I did was I made these little egg crate cutouts, and I'm using them as little platforms to help elevate the background a little bit, make those a little less wobbly, and zip tie them together. I ended up making like a chunk of rocks to go right there, a little chunk of rocks to go right there, because there's like a little path in the middle, and it was too straight. I broke it up a little bit to make it windy. It's time for me to move this into the tank and make sure that I like it and that it's going to work. Now I'll fill this up with my substrate that I use for all of my planted tanks. This is Fluval Kit from Brightwell Aquatics, my sponsor. They are awesome. Everything that I do, I use their products. This is the extra fine version. It's a really nice small particle size, and it's gonna look really nice in the nano-sized planted tank. Okay, this is looking so cool, but there's one thing I have to fix. In the back there, I can see some of that light crate or egg crate poking through, and I'm not going to be able to cover it very well. I need to find a solution. I'll take some silicone, I'm going to smear it on and cover it with aquarium substrate. I do know what I'd like to do for a plant selection. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna order those and then I'll come back in a couple days when I get those plants. I will order my plants. It's been weeks since I made this. I've just been sitting around like waiting for my plants to get to me because it's been really hot this summer. Finally, I got them all. So I'm sitting down this evening. Here is my lovely little forest hardscape. In front of me, I have a cutting board with a bunch of aquatic plants in front of me, and I'm gonna put my plants in. But before I do that, I have made a decision. I feel like I'm going to actually turn this into a CO2 tank, so I'm gonna be adding CO2 to it to get it to grow more lushly and be really pretty. This small size light's perfect for little aquariums, for nano aquariums. This is an app-controlled, Bluetooth connected light. I like being able to control my lights and having high quality lights that are gonna last me a long time. Just default out of the box, this is so much brighter. I'm gonna get the app set up and I can control it. It fits perfectly on the back of this little tank and with the lid, so I'm pretty happy with that. I think that was a good choice for turning this into a high-tech tank. It's time for me to plant my plants. I'm going to do the dry start method with this tank, which means I'm putting my plants in. I'm making a really humid environment for the plants to grow. It's always easier to start if your substrate is wet. Planting plants, I think, is the best part. You're adding the life into the hardscape. This lovely plant right here is Rotala rotundifolia. I'm adding this as a background plant to help cover the black backing, and this is gonna be like the bushy plants in the distance. Okay, I'm just gonna take these with my big aquascaping tongs and push them into the back. There we go. You can see the Rotala is in the back there. I think that's a good choice. Next, Hygrophila pinnatifida. I don't know how to say things, guys. I just read them. I chose this plant because, like in a forest, this would be a little bush off to the side. It gives a different texture. Let's see, I was thinking about putting it right here. Next, I have some Hydrocodal Japan. This is really cool. I thought this would add a little bit of like a ground cover texture to the tank. For my little tiny foreground plant that I chose for this tank, I chose Glossostigma. It's a beautiful, very petite plant, perfect to replicate all those little itty bitty plants that are growing on the forest floor. But the problem is that it came pretty much as a mostly dead pile of glue. But there are a few little living parts on it still, and you bet I'm gonna plant those. When I make videos, I do my best to bring a project from start to finish. I don't think I'll be able to do this on this tank. It took so long to get my plants, and some are still missing. I have a really beautiful moss that I'm gonna be propagating in this tank, which I'm excited for, but I don't know where it is. I think that I'm gonna go ahead and do a dry start method on this tank, let it grow in a little bit, let it look really nice, and then come back and finish it in another video. I don't usually stretch stuff out to be 2 videos when it could just be 1 video, but in this case, I just feel like I have to wrap this up and move on and come back when it's beautiful and lush. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I'm really excited to see how this turns out. I think it'll be really, really pretty. And I really hope I'm able to get that lush, like forest interior feeling that I'm going for. Thanks so much for watching, and thank you to all my patrons who really help me out when it comes to buying little supplies and plants and stuff. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time.